us up like ants in a colony. Organize the wealth into a socialist economy. A way of life based off the common needs. And all my comrades is ready, we can spread the scene. And all my comrades is ready, we can spread the scene. And all my comrades is ready, we can spread the scene.
Welcome to the 49th Annual National Association of Black Journalists Convention and Career
Wait, what is this?
We are about to begin.
The National Association of Black Journalists.
And is Donald Trump here?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Why don't you fast forward up to when they're in the chairs?
All right.
Bro, if I paid for this conference, I would be so mad to have Donald Trump come to my fucking career fair conference about journalism. And that's what it is. They just said it. I would be livid if I fucking paid to get into this shit because I need to go fucking find a job. And then Donald Trump comes out to give me fucking career advice. Are you shitting me, dude? I would leave this organization as fast as fucking possible and fucking start my own goddamn Substack, bro.
I would say.
Are you kidding me?
If it were me and I were there and I were a black American that was at this summit and they don't have an open bar, then I would agree with you. But like, if there were one, I would immediately be like just spending money at the bar because this is about to be the evening of a lifetime.
And is this like a conservative organization of black journalists?
I don't think so. I think it's like a mixed bag. I would assume as much.
The elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here.
Elephant in the room.
You have pushed false claims.
Yeah, it's
about
not.
some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States.
Pause real quick. Are they
I
going
did everything right, and they indicted me.
Are they going straight hardball on Trump here? First,
just opening.
like, what the
That
fuck?
is the opening
good.
like, fucking statement.
Yeah. Did you already see this, Johnny?
My wife showed me a TikTok, which the more and more she shows me stuff on TikTok, the more and more I'm kind of coming around to the idea that I think you were onto something. I think TikTok needs to be banned.
Black journalists calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask.
Wait, hold on. Did Trump just like look over at like somebody probably from his team? Like, can you just go back 5 seconds? He kind of gives this look over to the side, like
animal and rabbit to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask.
Yes.
Taps his fingers.
He definitely looked over to somebody from his comms team. It was just like,
you said it was going to be chill. You said softballs.
Okay. I agree.
Softballs.
I agree with Bert. Can we back it up to the start of the question?
It's not really a question. It's really just like a laundry list of racist things that Donald Trump has said or done.
X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
All things we have heard and are aware of.
It's not really a question, but sure, run it back. Well, let's hear it from the top.
You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that...
Can I just say, like the amount of phones I'm seeing being raised with record on?
Oh shit.
Holy shit. Who knows if they'll ever air this? I need to record this now.
that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Black people love
I did everything right and they indicted me.
I'll back it up. we both just couldn't contain ourselves to let him answer it.
You, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country. Including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs.
Black.
But also, wait, when did this get uploaded?
This got uploaded 5 hours ago.
5 hours ago.
30,000 views.
This is gonna be like a media spectacle, right? It has to be, because like this is ridiculous. Like, because like I don't think any presidential nominee, president, anyone that's campaigning, nobody's walking into a buzzsaw. Like if you're of this stature, you're not just gonna jump into like, oh, whatever, this journalist thing where like I'm gonna get berated by 3 people and like have every racist thing I've ever done broadcasted. Like he had no clue. His team had no clue it was gonna be like this.
Dude, they literally have just been like.
And he's fucking. She said all that shit, and he's like, "You're terrible."
You work for ABC.
Yeah,
Just
what
fuck
the
those
fuck?
people.
You're terrible. I can't believe
mean-
you talk to me like this.
This is ultimately why I think he's gonna lose. I know a lot of people are like still clutching their pearls about it, but it's like, bro, people fucking hate his guts. No one is gonna convert to Donald Trump.
Not gonna. He's probably not gonna win. Dude, Kamala has already flipped a bunch of swing states in polling. I mean, like, it literally the amount of change that's occurred from the day Joe Biden stepped down, which looked like we were almost staring down the barrel of a assured Trump victory. We are now looking at what first was, oh, look, she's kind of gaining him on the polls. Oh, wow, she surpassed him on the polls. Oh, wow, she has now flipped swing states. Oh, she's actually raised more money in the history, I think, of presidency in the United States in terms of like how quickly someone has gained that amount of money. Yeah, like, I don't know. It's just like, because like this is the thing is, oh, there's, you know, even though like there's like this like extremely vocal and unhinged MAGA community, even people that have like regular Christian and regular conservative values are not super comfortable with Trump.
Dude, the amount of old people I've heard stories about, like from just, this is completely anecdotal, so I'll admit that right now. But the amount of times I have heard people say that like my like diehard Republican, most of their lives Republican voting grandparent or uncle or family member has like just like completely abandoned him, right? It's going up, right? The amount of times I'm hearing it.
As much as you want to like say that every like whatever like all the stuff like not you, I'm just saying like people who defend him, like there's still people that are just like regular people that are like, I don't know, this dude's like hush money scandals with porn stars, and he's always been kind of like a weird and
It's-
like very like
It's weird. It's weird.
They're just weird people.
and like there's like the January 6th thing, and it's like there's like a lot of baggage that comes with Trump, and it's like you just don't know where this thing's gonna go. Even if you're like a conservative, it's like I don't know what will happen if this dude's in the White House a second time.
I mean, you heard the quote about like Trump saying to like some rally that like, you know, I love the Christians, I love you people, you know, for just this one time, just vote for me, you'll never have to vote again.
Yeah,
You heard about that, right?
what, that he was gonna stay president for life?
Well,
No, he literally said you'll never have to vote again.
Oh, because they're dying.
No, like
because they're gonna take over.
Dude, I don't want to go down another rabbit hole. I want to watch this.
okay. I'll pull it up later, and I'm gonna let this play for a second. I'm gonna go grab my water. Okay.
Go ahead.
I've done so much, and you know, and I say this, historically black.
What the fuck is he talking about?
And universities were out of money, they were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then
What a
you said,
fucking liar,
you can't
dude.
do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. Something
Mr.
was
President,
wrong.
I would love
I think
if you
it's
can
a
answer the
very
question
nasty
on your rhetoric
question.
and why you
I have
believe
answered
black
the
voters
question.
should trust you with another 4
I have
years.
been the best president for the black population since
There's like
Abraham
5
Lincoln.
Trump voters in the audience.
President
That's
Johnson,
my
who signed the
answer.
Voting Rights
And
Act.
for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 30
Johnny,
minutes,
you have to bring this up.
because
This is
you
why
can't
you
get
should have just paused it, because like you need to be hearing a lot of what's happening. Can you just bring it back about like a minute? Because this is I got to say, every second that goes by, I don't believe that it can get crazier than it's already been.
It just keeps happening. It just keeps
There
going.
there has not been a moment of de-escalation this entire thing.
Dude.
So if you could just bring this back a little bit and listen to what's being said here, please.
It's a very nasty question. I have answered.
Go back further. Go back further. Go back further. He didn't even talk about their equipment and shit.
And I was told my opponent, whether it was
Keep going
Biden
back.
or
You weren't here for this.
don't know
Keep going more?
exactly why
Yeah.
you would
Yeah.
All right.
ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. Done so much, and and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke, and I saved them.
One person.
I gave them
One
long-term
person.
financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told
Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov.
here.
Wrong one.
It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense, and then you said
is he talking about?
you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working, or something
Mr.
was wrong.
President, I would.
This is me.
He starts talking shit. He starts talking shit like, and your equipment's all fucked up, by the way. You know what I mean? Like, just like Daggett and Kamala was supposed to be here, apparently. Like,
I was supposed to.
The reason why,
Kamala.
dude,
What a fucking liar, dude.
he is telling a lie because he already backed out of the debates that were scheduled with the presidential candidate, on TV, like the next set of debates. And now that it's going to be Kamala, he's like not wanting to talk to her. And she's calling him out on, as part of her like stump speeches to be like, let's do it. Talk to me to my face, dude.
here, listen to this part, dude. Yeah, keep playing. Listen, it gets crazier right here.
I think it's
I don't think the crowd can even hold back.
I have answered the question.
Trust you with another 4
I have
years.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President
That's
Johnson,
my
who signed the
answer.
Voting Rights
And
Act.
for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work, in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace. I
Let
really do.
me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define it?
Diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
Give me a
literally the
definition then.
words
Would you give me a definition?
DEI.
Give me a definition.
Oh my God.
Bro.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
He and I have to definitely debate.
This is the embodiment of that conversation at like every Thanksgiving table, right? Between like your kind of drunk grandfather just saying something like completely unhinged and racist, and you just like clapping back at them, right? With like, no, this is literally what that means. He's like, use it in a definition. I literally just defined it.
Do you want me to like have do you want me to define all three words individually and like that
the words,
right? Also,
like,
Dak dude really seems like he's lost it even after surviving an assassination attempt. He's not surviving an assassination attempt.
This is
currently.
this is him. This is the
succumbing-
new serene Trump.
He is succumbing to his wounds of this current assassination.
This is the new calm Trump.
Dude, have you?
I don't think
He's
he's calm at all.
serene.
I don't think a calm person might have been able to actually dance through this fire, like, but he just went right into it as being like, "You're fucked up. This whole thing is fucked up. Your cameras are bullshit." Yeah, like you're very hostile.
I'm just making a reference to the people who are saying Trump is Buddha now because he
No, they said
had a
that-
near-death experience.
They said that for about 15 minutes, and he couldn't even hold that together at the RNC. He couldn't. He was back to old.
No, he was boring at the RNC.
No, at the end of it,
That speech was boring as fuck.
Dude, he speaks for like an hour and a half. It's the longest RNC speech in history. You know that,
Is
right?
it really?
It's the longest RNC speech in history, only beating his first one. And he had in the
I
beginning.
bailed on it.
it's
I
all
was
about
too
unity,
bored.
But apparently, at the end of it, he goes mask off Trump. But yeah, go ahead.
What were you saying, Phil?
It was boring at the beginning. I should have stuck it out, but
Yeah, dude.
Have you seen his ears though lately?
it looks better.
It
sure.
literally
Not a
looks
very deep.
like nothing fucking happened.
That's crazy.
I think I'm a glasser now because
Yeah,
of how quickly it healed. I don't think he got hit by a bullet at all.
I'm a glad.
I think he got. Yeah, dude.
Well, no, I mean, if anything, the ears are like the only part of his face that aren't orange, except for like the lobe, that fatty, chewy.
You can't spray in there.
Almost no way a 223 bullet can
Damage your hearing.
Like, was it 2? I thought it was 5.56.
That's even bigger, right?
Yeah, dude.
Well, okay,
223 Wally is like,
Either or, yeah.
Either way, I'm just saying there's almost no way to get quote unquote grazed by that without getting like irreparable damage to your
yeah,
fucking.
no, dude, that shit should look fucked up. Like this whole fucking
Yeah,
thing.
it should have like
gone. It should be
just the
gone.
wind alone, right?
That's
It's
what
like
I
a
mean,
super.
yeah.
It's almost
What
supersonic,
about
right?
your fucking eardrum? You know what I mean? Like, you know, that doesn't damage
Yeah.
your fucking ear at all to have that.
No, he got. I'm a glass truther.
glass truth.
Adrenochrome healing properties. True, Dakadoon. True. Forgot about that.
Yeah, that's actually been surgically removed from a child at the border, put onto his fucking head.
It's a new ear altogether.
That bullet was fucking cursed because like he literally had it all.
Dude.
He had it all.
Talk
for, like,
about-
a solid like 2 weeks after that, right? It literally, we were looking down like the barrel of a gun, right? Like that, like Trump was absolutely no.
We were
question
digging the
about it.
grave of Joe Biden. We were taking turns throwing the dirt over Joe Biden's still gaping mouth.
Yes.
Still thinking open mouth.
Still barely breathing, gaping maw.
And we just passed the shovel as we each threw dirt over his eyes.
But now, dude, literally.
Dude, it's girl
his
boss time.
own doing.
Dude, it's girl boss time, dude. We have empowered. Dude, this girl, Trump is getting clowned right now.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Yeah. He is frazzled on a stage with these women who are assertively and confidently just being like, "You're fucked up."
These fierce, strong, independent women
Yeah.
of color are going to do more
Honestly,
damage than like.
They're going to do more
This
damage
is
to Donald
so
Trump
fresh.
than two debates against Joe Biden could have.
This is so fresh that it's going to be interesting how some of this stuff does play, because I don't even think it's had enough time to hit like the commentary yet.
No, that's what I'm saying. Watch for tomorrow. I'm calling it right now. Watch like over the next 3 days. Watch the big progressive platforms, breaking points, and not breakthrough news. Maybe breakthrough news. Breaking points. I was talking about like the big like liberal kind of like left liberal kind of ones.
Eugene Murray here, fucking weighing in.
But
It's time to grow the channel.
right. But in my opinion, this is huge. This is because this is the other thing too, is you can never really get a president to sit down and like berate him like this. It's almost impossible to get them to walk into the lion's den and berate them like is happening right now. Normally it has to be like a huge sanctioned political debate where everything's polished up. I don't think Trump was ready for this, and he is getting fucking assaulted right now.
Yes.
Why would he even do this? That's what I'm saying. He couldn't have known. Whoever his team was, first of all, I'll tell you why he's doing it. His team absolutely said, we have to get you points, black points. You need to be like acceptable to the black community. Okay, how can we do that? Okay, we have the American black journalists. They said they want you to come. All right, are they going to be chill?
Kamala might be there.
Are they going to be chill? They said they'll be chill. They said they love you. All right. And then when he got there,
one lady on the panel that's from Fox News. So
yeah. All right. He's like, all right.
Be all right.
Yeah, he's like, all right. And then in the first 5 seconds, he just looks at his agent or whatever and goes like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
But go on. I have to hear the rest of this.
I'm asking you a question, a very direct question.
Define it for me, if you would.
I just defined it. So do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say, no, I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time directly, very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She is.
The crowd's laughing at him, dude.
No, it's been 2 separate times where the crowd has not been able when he said I've been the best black president for black, someone in the crowd goes no, and they're like everybody's just like booing him. Like he is getting fucking demolished right now. He doesn't even have any.
I take back what I said at the beginning.
There's like one person who clapped when he said one thing, and he's just been fucking getting like it is. The entire audience and the entire panel against him, and I don't think this is the thing. Donald Trump thrives on his confidence and his fucking ability to fucking this and that. And right now, he has nothing to latch onto. No. He's getting nothing. He's grasping for all the sticks, like trying to get up get out of the water, and nobody's there to help him.
Quicksand. What did you say, Phil?
Oh, I don't remember. I think I was just. Oh, I take back what I said at the beginning about having him there. It's pretty great.
Oh. No, dude. Normally, like, he's like media trained. You know what I mean? He's like probably like one of the most media trained. Like
he has many handlers. He has many handlers.
Like,
that makes
he
can spin on a dime, right?
Well, let me tell you, if he had any media training for this specific thing, they would probably have to say, if they bring up the black thing, don't try to discredit it. Don't try to make it like that it's not real. Like that is probably the last thing you should do. I've heard you talking about this whole black skepticism thing. I've heard you say this, and let me tell you, that is not the strategy.
He's flailing because, like, a normal politician would have literally just pointed to the policies that he did point to without being like, you're mean, you're rude. Like, you would have said, like, she literally asked you a straightforward question about, like, why should black voters vote for you, and you don't have to be like, no, you're mean, you're making that stuff up. You can literally just be like, here are the policies that I did for, and like that is what a normal politician would do. And I guess I think because Donald Trump has peaked, thank God he's not a normal politician.
Yeah, well, and also the thing is like, you know, this idea of like now he's also deviating from sticking to the policy, and now he's giving his own thing where he's like, who knew she was black? She's suddenly black, like as if she made it up for like political purposes. Like he's calling into question whether or not Kamala Harris is black, which is like, I'm saying somebody in his campaign, somebody that's like relatively young and like probably like you know is right now just like
I hope that whoever was on his comms team that like put literally is like, I need ice. I need you to put the tip of my thumb into this bag of ice, please. I have to go to the hospital.
Oh my God.
Was identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe
continue in a very hostile, nasty tone?
Dude, yeah. Not weird, bro. Not weird, dude. Not weird at all.
And like they're telling like she went to historically black college. And here's another thing that I want to say is like this idea, we have like racially constructed ideas of what it means to be black or white. If you're a person who is like Indian, but you are like, you know, like you look like Kamala Harris, you will live the experience, the lived experience of a black person. Yes. It doesn't matter if you're actually Puerto Rican, Afro-Puerto Rican. It doesn't matter if you're actually Indian and you look at your way. It's like there's a black experience that is based on our perceptions of like what of these.
I am half Indian.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
People do not look at me and say, "What's up?"
They're like, "Oh, there's a nice Italian man."
There's a nice Italian, there's a nice Indian boy, like, you know, like, fucking, is your marriage arranged? No, dude. Yeah. Fucking, like, that's.
He doubled down on it too. He's just like, no, like she was not always black. All of a sudden, she's black.
Yeah, no, that's my favorite part about it.
Yeah.
That
all of a sudden, she's black. Who knew?
All of a sudden, she's black. I think what he's trying to do, or I think that like what worked for him a couple years ago, is Pocahontas. You know, Elizabeth Warren said that, you know, she's indigenous and that she's an Indian woman, and then now look at her now that she's saying that she isn't. Look at that.
Yeah, exactly.
We talked about that recently again.
Oh yeah, they have to pivot. Like, was it before or after this?
Oh, it was before this.
Oh, so then that probably explains like why he's even doing this, because he thinks, I'll just do the Elizabeth Warren thing again. It'll work like a charm.
Like a charm.
All reliable.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans
really don't
have said?
know. I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person. Who just interviewed me at length, and we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings.
Well, you told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about you today.
This is the longest one of your life.
Wait, hold on. This is really, really important. This is really important.
Please help me.
Exactly, yeah. He just threw his only lifeline and said, please, for the love of God, save me from this. And you don't know, is she going to be like the more kind of like conciliatory party, or is she about to just like take his fingers on the ledge and just dig her heel onto them? he's like, please, just grab my hand. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll hold you up by stepping on your hands.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a perfect moment.
Is it the Always Sunny in Philadelphia thing where they get the 2x4 and push it off? That's kind of what we're looking at right now. Like, so it's either gonna be that situation or
I got you, brother. Oh, no, you don't. Why are you doing that?
No, I think it is going to be an apt metaphor, but the other people are the Danny DeVito, the other two panelists. Yeah, she's
going to hold on tenuously.
Trying to hold on. Yeah.
Dude, that's right, Bert. This is the first question. There's an hour left of this.
I can't believe he didn't walk off immediately.
Oh my God.
I mean,
that would have been the move.
Lost on us how divided we are as a country. And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we are divided along the lines of race, along the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! Wait.
A lot of problems with it, but one of the
pause it real quick.
Not the right crowd.
Dackadun's hilarious. What if he just went like this? What if he just grabbed his ear and then went down? Like, not even his wound. Like there was another bullet or something like that. He's like, he has to get rushed off by Secret Service just to get out. Like, I think I'm being an assassination attempt is happening. But wait, go ahead. Let's hear what he says. She is trying to. The one from Fox. It seems like she is like. She might come back harder, but she's giving him his thing like, hey, you're in front of us. What is your message
it's like,
to
I
us?
can only do so much, sir.
Yeah.
And a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you.
Did he just say aura black?
I think he said aura black.
He said they are black, but they're all laughing at him because it's the National Association of Black Journalists. Yes,
a lot of them are black, actually.
But there's that extra syllable when he says it. You know what I mean? Like,
for a lot of the journalists in this room are black.
Okay,
I will
maybe
tell
there's not
you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black.
They're coming for your journalism jobs.
A black job is anybody that has.
Oh my God.
That's what it is. Anybody that.
Pause it real quick. They just asked him, "What's a black job?" What is the, you know what I mean?
Anybody that has a job.
And literally any job could be a black job. There's no specific kind of unskilled labor that I was referring to as black jobs that is under threat. Oh my.
But he's also saying that these economic migrants are coming for their jobs in particular, and they're journalists. They're like college educated. They're gonna go try to work for the Washington Post or like New York Times or like their local paper, whatever.
By the way,
yeah, exactly. Like,
there's a
what the fuck? They're coming for the jobs. Okay, dude.
Say what you want about Shane Gillis, but in one of his stand-up specials, he has this thing where his dad is like a Fox News dad, and he lives in Pennsylvania, and he's always super concerned about immigrants coming over the border and stealing the jobs. And he's like Shane Gillis said something to the effect like his dad is a car salesman in Mechanicsville, Pennsylvania, and he's like, "What do you think? What do you think that it's like that industry is just going to be taken over by migrants?" But
so
yeah.
Okay, I know this is a little bit of a tangent, but like this is why. Hey, what's up, Raiders?
What's up, Raiders?
But Shane Gillis is like kind of a normie.
Yeah,
he might be like more conservative or whatever, but like,
yeah.
That's why Donald Trump and the Republican Party comes across as weird to normal people, is because normal people, even if they are like more conservative, understand that like the migrant isn't coming for the car salesman job.
Yeah.
You know, like that's like that they understand the absurdity of that. And why like an effective political message in this moment is like it encompasses the absurdity and unreality of so many of the conservative policies that exist and what they fight for.
Hey, what's up, Raiders? We got a real hoot here. I don't know if anybody has seen this. It was uploaded about 5 hours ago. It is Donald Trump in what is essentially a ambush interview at the National Association of Black Journalists. I kind of, since we have people in here, I almost want to restart it, but
we're only like 8 minutes into a half an hour long interview.
But it has been. Just know that it has been unhinged this entire time.
From if you want to jump,
Donald Trump has literally eaten. Has literally eaten shit. Has eaten helping after helping of shit. It just keeps getting worse. I honestly can't believe it.
He literally just. If you want to, it's like he's jumping face first into shit.
Yes, it very much is that.
God, they've all been like highlights. Like that's why it's hard to even pick one.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how the media goes back. Well, no, hold on. If you want to watch the full thing, it'll be up on the YouTube later. So go watch it there.
There you go. But also, speaking of the YouTube, we just uploaded another episode of our Late Victorian Holocaust podcast. If you want to check that out, please do. It is this one is mainly going over the Grande Seca, which is actually the most devastating famine in Brazilian history. So if you want to check that out, please do. Also, if you could just please subscribe to the YouTube if you haven't already, I would be eternally grateful to you. And then, yeah, if you want to join the Patreon, that'd be cool too. We should have a book collection coming up, I would say, in the next week, as we're getting over halfway done with Late Victorian Holocausts. And also, The Kensington Donation Fund, yeah, obviously this is a very slow-moving project here. We haven't really been bringing in a ton of money towards it, and honestly, even if we did bring in the money, we probably can't even it's probably not even actionable until after we get back from Chicago. So if you do want to be somebody that, if you want to invest in the community of Kensington where people are struggling, throw $1 or $2 in that. We would really appreciate it.
And for anybody wondering, all right, well, what was the last thing that Trump just said that he's saying?
This might be the most highlight.
Anybody that has a job, that's what it is. Anybody that has a job was his response to his own statement.
We'll just bring it back 10 seconds and they can hear it.
Yeah, you're right. I'll just do that.
We don't have to go back on the whole thing, but this is probably my favorite part so far. The black jobs is probably my favorite part.
Us in this room are black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
What is a black
Taking the employment away from black.
Anybody
so
that has a
if
job.
this migrant is a migrant from Africa,
what if they're from Haiti?
Are they taking, or Haiti, another place, or like even anywhere in Central or South America
that has Afro, that has an Afro population.
Black
jobs. That could be Belize, that could be Guatemala, that could be Colombia, that could be Brazil, that
There's
could
a
be
lot
Cuba,
of
that could be Puerto Rico, that could be Haiti. It's like the more I think about it, the more it could be almost any Latin American nation.
Literally.
Well, I mean, anywhere like around the world, let's just be real about like, come on, people move around and they literally could be anywhere and have any skin color. Like that's not like a crazy thing to like.
No, but he's trying to stoke like a divide between Latino and black, like worker.
All of these migrants, they're coming to work at these newspapers you're trying to work at.
It's literally the same. They all have Substacks. They all have very, very popular Substacks out here.
I've seen some very, very popular Twitter accounts.
I don't read Spanish.
I've seen their YouTube numbers. They do better than that Subversive History podcast. I'll tell you what.
They probably fucking do. Stop. That's a sore subject. Now, actually, I'm a little bit concerned about the migrant crisis now.
Actually,
now that you bring that up. Hold on.
You might have a point here.
But it's really the same thing that the labor unions did in the 1920s and stuff like that, when they wanted to like break up like the worker solidarity between black people and Asian people and people coming up from Mexico and poor white people, is to be like, hey, there's not enough jobs for all these people, right? You're the white people. You got Asian people over here. You got Mexican people coming up here. You got black people. You think they should make as much money as you? You think they should have the same job security as you? And it's like, this is like the kind of like shit that they do to like Trump's just pulling a century-old fucking playbook out of the racist playbook.
Some history for everybody here, right? There was, right, a point in time where redneck meant that you were pretty, like, quasi-socialist, like, trade unionist, right? A lot of times they were miners, right?
Yeah.
They worked in mines. And, they would go on strike, you see.
Yep.
And so these mining companies that historically did not like hiring black people suddenly were very willing to ship in, lots of black people for good pay at these jobs that weren't being done by striking miners.
Right.
And led to a very big pockmark on like the history of organized labor in the U.S.
Of which it has many.
Yeah, it has a couple, but that's just one of them. But yeah,
I'm actually reading quite a lot about that now in this here book that I've been reading, which goes over certain histories of certain places.
Extreme.
And I'm not going to show what it is because it is someone that we are interviewing on August 10th. It is a very large book. We've read one of his books on stream before, but we'll keep teasing this out. Probably in about a week we'll drop who it actually is. I'll leave it up to you.
Sam, what the fuck? Everyone, please tune into Left Like That's Twitch channel right now. Please be sure to turn off the sub his stream so that they no longer get any credit for your viewership.
How did this get here? Why is it italicized? Can you even,
I don't even know how to do that. No, I don't even know this.
This is a mod thing. He's trying to coup us right now.
Oh my God, there's a fucking coup. There's a double agent within our ranks, dude.
We understand, Ree. I'm so.
Is he paying you?
How much is he paying you?
We'll double it.
We don't have enough money. We can't go into a fucking. We can't run into. Jesus Christ, dude. It's so funny that Marcus could literally buy us out. Yeah. Marcus could literally buy us out from our own moderation team.
Let's not give him any ideas, all right? You never know when he's listening.
He's always listening.
He's always got that earbud in. You can never tell what he's listening to, all right?
Most dangerous part.
Employment away from black people. They're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people. I have a feeling it's much more than that.
15, 16, 17 million.
What's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that, and Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been. She said she was there once, but not the right part of the border. So she was a border czar. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our country, and they're taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs, and frankly, they're taking union jobs. Unions are being very badly affected by all of the millions of people that are pouring into our country. And one thing, as we discussed, many of these people are coming in from mental institutions.
Donald Trump, the pro-union president. I love that.
What'd you say?
Donald Trump, the pro-union president.
Yeah,
I love that.
Very pro-union, and you know.
What about the PRO Act? You see, this is the thing: is like why he has reached his peak.
We're gonna have card checks. All right.
Yeah, card check at every shop. We're gonna get rid of right to work. Agency fees. We're bringing them back, folks. It's like JD Vance saying we're gonna raise taxes. Like this is legitimately what conservatives are reacting to. JD Vance saying we're gonna raise taxes for people who don't have children. Like they're reacting poorly to that, and that Donald Trump saying these things would be like that to Republican voters, because like getting rid of agency fees is when people who work at a workplace have to contribute something to the union, even if they're not a member, because they are getting represented by their union.
That's called a free rider.
Yeah.
Don't be one. But also, I think that he's just too used to talking to people that are just like, we'll just no matter what he's saying,
seals, like an audience clapping seals. Couldn't be happier than being in the presence of Donald Trump.
Just basking in his orange tinted.
They're driving around. Yeah, they're driving around in like vans that are decaled with his face on the side of it and shit. You know what I mean? Like, and he's like, "What's up?"
Amongst like 200 other stickers that you can't even see out the window.
Yeah.
Custom made stickers that are
normal things.
Just completely normal.
Not weird at all things.
And are definitely
not weird at all.
That is easily read right from like right to left. Like every other person reads things in like a descending order. You know what I mean, David?
They're gang members in other countries. Other countries are setting loose their prisoners. They're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers, gang members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President, I want to get into how you address some of the issues with black communities. And I say that plural because we live in communities of color that are different. We're not all the same. We don't vote the same. We don't think the same.
True.
It's not monolithic.
True.
So as you come here today, I want to talk about something that bursts, and this is the weight of the inflation on this country right now. The nonprofit Money Management International recently released data from its mid-year analysis that we have found a 52% rise in people who are seeking counseling for being in credit debt. They're paying for food that is sky high on their credit cards, and now they can't pay that off. The credit counseling nonprofit MMI, as I said, is saying now that they've seen surges that they haven't seen since we were in a pandemic of people in financial trouble.
I was like, that was like 2 years ago. What the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
We haven't seen this since we were in a pandemic. It's like, we're barely out of the pandemic. What are you talking about?
Like, the pandemic didn't stop.
You're talking about the Spanish flu? What pandemic are you talking about? It just seems weird to like harken back to
the one that still kills like 1,000 people a month or something.
We haven't seen this type of inflation since 18 months ago. We don't know what to do.
Since 18.
Yeah, like I don't understand really what the phrasing of that was. I understand that you can take that out. The question's still fine. Like, I get it, the premise. We want to talk about inflation. People are in credit card debt, but it's like, we haven't seen this since the pandemic. It's like, what the fuck?
It's like when you see a business decal.
That was when you were president.
When you see a business decal on a van and it includes a bunch of MAGA rhetoric, it's like, yeah, like, you know, depending on where you are, that business is either like hurting financially or like, you know, is doing amazingly purely based off of those stickers on the side of that van. I have no interest in watching fascist streams. Sorry. What? This? Dude, this is probably one of his greatest...
No, they're arguing about David.
Oh, well, you know, well, whatever.
I kind of agree with Ree.
Well, that's not here, okay? This is not fascism, okay? This is like Strasserism at best, all right?
All right. On a bad day, you know.
On a bad day, all right?
Clip it and ship it.
We can talk.
Of single moms, single black moms, when you look statistically, how do you turn it around? What's your plan for the black community when it comes to money?
So, first of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment, because I guess, you know, this woman was able to get the right equipment. But it's very...
It's so funny, dude. Dude, this country is amazing.
Why would you even?
It's all he has right now. He's trying to like poison the well a little bit, like of everything, of just being like, they don't have their shit together. I don't know. I'm just saying the floor hasn't been mopped in days. They have the plants around me. None of them have been watered.
The floor's all sticky.
The plants, these plants are parched. I think some of them are plastic.
I see dust on that one right there. That's not even a real plant, is it?
And also he needs an extra second to think. You know what I mean? Like this is like a thing when like you're on like a big discussion or a debate and you got to get asked stuff on the fly and think on the fly. You ever see somebody when you get caught by the police or something like that, or just anybody lying? Have you ever heard the thing, if they say what or repeat the question back to you, it's them like if they're like, hey, how did this get in your pocket? And like, how did that get in my pocket?
How did that get in my pocket?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like this, that thing there.
Well,
like,
you see.
Yeah. And then they say a lot of words around like what isn't the actual answer, because they're trying to be like, well, if I just talk a lot, it creates this illusion that I'm confidently volunteering a bunch of information.
Which, like, dude, you can do that like during a debate. That's like literally like, if you go back and watch old presidential debates for like the last like 30 years, it is literally just people doing that. They're dancing around a question and maybe there's like a solid like 5 words answering it.
Actually or directly involved with it, yeah.
What were you going to say, Phil?
I was just, I was going to say that it's, oh shoot, I forgot. Oh, it's the moderators in this situation that just want to like put on like a genial show as opposed to like actually, holding people to task for like being unreal in their like arguments, which is like why this actually seems a little bit shocking to like, why it's a little bit of a spectacle is because like they aren't doing that, like it's very distinctly a situation. Well, that one lady is kind of trying to, but the overall, like, think about it compared to like the presidential debate, even the last one in particular was like this super exemplified where they're like, we're just here to like put out a question and then like whatever happens and we're gonna let the world decide. But like that's like, in my opinion, really harmful in many ways, and like really abdicating the role of a moderator in general, and like as a media figure who's like trying to at least portray themselves as like, we're talking about the real world. Like, well, when someone says something so unreal as that, like it makes sense to like have a rebuttal to that from like the people who are like trying to hold it together, not necessarily put it on. And it's not even like a defense for Joe Biden in this situation. It's just like, you like also have like a responsibility to be like, this is unreal what you're saying. Like, this is not a real thing.
I mean, dude, this is the National Association of Black Journalists. They would.
Yeah, I think they're doing a good job.
This was purely just a softball fucking like, panel of women asking him just like easy questions, right? They would never be able to live that down. That would literally be like having the president of the Teamsters show up at the RNC and talk about like, strong unions, right? And brag about supporting Ronald Reagan, George Bush. I think Nixon the other one that he said that like they proudly support, and it's like you just like went down a list of like top 3 anti-union busting like pieces of shit. What is wrong?
Hey, thanks for the sub, Bert.
Oh, Bert.
18 months.
My guy, dude.
That sub baby's walking and talking now, just about.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for being here, Bert. We appreciate you, man.
We do. I hope you know that.
Hard for me to hear you.
What?
I hope you do. That's all I said.
Okay, I thought you said something about Canada.
I did not.
I can hear
What?
I did not. Jesus Christ, dude.
every other word. It's very difficult, actually. But so I don't know if they can fix it or do something with it, but I'll do the best I can with it. The inflation is absolutely destroying our middle class, our working class, virtually every class. Inflation is a disaster in our country. Inflation is a country buster. It breaks every country. And we had, in my opinion, the worst inflation we've had. They say it's 58 years, but I think it's much more than that. It's been devastating. And if you just take a look at a lot of things they don't include, like interest rates. Interest rates went from 2.4% to 10%, and you can't get the money. People can't buy houses. They no longer have the American dream. Young people, young black people, they don't have the American dream anymore. They can't buy a house. They can't borrow the money because of the cost of the money. They can't buy it because of the cost of housing, because of the cost to build it, because of inflation. Inflation is a disaster, and it's destroying our country, and it's destroying the black community probably as much or more than any.
What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started with a bad energy policy by Joe Biden. By the way,
he wants to drill oil and natural gas.
Joe Biden. I don't even think he's the president still. I think
I think specifically like the policy that they like are referring to is around the natural gas export terminal that the Biden administration like canceled. That's like the main thing, because that was like actually one of the good things that the Biden administration did, but it gets buried under everything else that they do poorly. And but that's what the Republicans are talking about. He's like, well, we have, it's the same kind of shit where drill baby drill is like, I can imagine he might even say that here soon.
Also, he's also a person who pretty much mask off suggested that we should have been occupying the oil fields of Syria, I believe, or wherever. Like,
I think we have been. I think
no, but he's like one that's like those should be our oil fields. Like,
right.
He said it like completely masked off.
Owe it to us.
He still says that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I was running against a man named Biden. You probably saw that. And he was
He's so mad
badly in the polls. And then he had a rather bad debate. I would say it was a bad debate. I would say it was one of the worst debates in history. His poll numbers crashed. And instead of saying, you know, let's keep going and maybe something happens the other way, they said, oh, we're going to replace him. Let's just replace him. That's like you're in a fight. A prize fighter's in a fight. He's not doing what you're saying. Hold on. Another fight.
Pause it. Just remember, he's answering a question about what he would do about inflation.
Okay. Yeah, about inflation. Yeah. And also, when he said, like, this has been one of the worst debates in history, he, like, paused for a second, and I think he's actually very conditioned to having, like, a fucking entire arena of sycophantic weirdos that, like, just, like, the moment he says some dig at Joe Biden, they all just immediately start fucking just ovulating.
Yeah.
Just barking and clapping like seals.
And he kind of like paused for a second after that, and there's just like a deadpan room staring back at him, who I imagine are like black college graduates that are all just like looking back at him like completely unfazed. Yes, ovulating is the word that I used.
I agree, Ree. That was an interesting choice.
Listen, he's ready, is what I'm trying to say. He's ready
to fertilize every age.
That's what he does. It stimulates that. It stimulates that within his audience. It just primes them to receive. You know what I mean?
So our whole campaign was steered toward him, and now we have to steer toward him. But ultimately, it's the same because they have bad policy. They have policies of open borders, unbelievable open borders, horrible energy policies. They want to get rid of, as you say, gasoline in cars. They want to get rid of oil. They want to get rid of efficient heating.
Mr. President.
Environmentally, what they're doing is killing our country. They're
Did he just
destroying.
stop? Did he just throw her a point?
He did.
God.
Country, but the inflation is the thing that's hurting the black worker, the black population, and every other population within our country. Inflation is the worst it's been, I think, in over 100 years, and they'll fact check it. They'll say it's only 58. Whatever it may be, they don't add all the numbers. They don't add the real numbers, and you can check that too. But inflation, Harris, is absolutely destroying this country and the people in our country. Yes,
Mr. President, can I ask you another question that is also impacting black Americans?
And that's very clear now. Good.
He's been almost cut off in every one of his answers. Like, they're so rambling and long that he hasn't like succinctly finished a single sentence. Like, everyone is like with them being like, sir. Like,
dude,
President Trump.
Have you read a transcript of like Trump monologues? Pretty much, they're just like about 3 sentences, maybe just continuously repeated and rearranged. It's like a fucking Rain and Blood Slayer riff that, like, you know, you just make like 20 years of material by adding slightly different, like, you know, pinch harmonic bends to it or something, and it's just like, yeah, it's the same album.
I'm sorry?
It's very clear. I hear you.
Okay. So Sonia Massey, someone from Illinois, an unarmed black woman, was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been charged with murder. You've said police would get immunity from prosecution if you win. Why should someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact case, but I saw something, and it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me. With the water, right?
Yeah. Well, police.
I thought you didn't know the case, dude.
Hang on a second.
What a fucking liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude.
When he does this with the water, right?
Oh, he's implying that she attacked the cops with the water. He's like, oh, when she gave the cops the old deadly drench,
the boiling water thing that didn't fucking happen. It didn't happen. She did not throw boiling hot water at a cop. So he's literally repeating something.
Oh, and the only reason she was holding the goddamn water is because they told her to.
Right. So, yeah, I hope that he's about to get lit up for this.
Right?
Yeah, well, police unions are not backing this person either.
Okay.
But again, why would...
Are they going to be charging the officer? I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should
he's already in jail, you fucking...
What's that?
He's already in jail.
Yeah.
Donald Trump just has no idea about this. He's like, so what? They're going to be charging him? I don't know. What are they going to do?
No,
Why don't you tell
that? He thinks it's good that it happened.
Well, and also, if you actually,
he thinks
give him a lot of
immunity.
If you want to give him a lot of credit, like if he's this big-brained, this might be another Proud Boys stand back and stand down. It's a very mealy-mouthed kind of double speak because what he's saying is it didn't look good. Now, you could say it didn't look good on her end or it didn't look good on the cops. You don't really know. He could be like, yeah, it didn't look good what she was doing. You know what I mean? Or you could say, yeah, didn't look good what the police did. But just merely stating it did not look good, that really gives him an escape hatch to either way. He could literally be like, no, when I said it didn't look good, I said it didn't look good that she threw water on them. Or he could say, oh, it didn't look good the way they shot. Like he didn't give any kind of condemnation to either side. He just said it was a very sad situation. There was good people on both sides. You know what I mean? Like, this is what he does. Yeah. He just slithers through these things.
Well,
many people are saying Sam's a hater. Some people say he's a great moderator. I've never seen him moderate. God. I'm just going off Salty Commie's joke. I don't actually think that whatsoever. I think Sam is perhaps the best moderator. I've never seen a better moderator.
It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are much different cases than that. We need people to protect ourselves. And by the way, in Chicago, as an example, a few weeks ago, July 4th week, they had 117 shootings and 17 deaths. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. We need to have our police officers have the respect and dignity back. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So
he's still not really. See, he's not really giving it, like, he's saying in a way, he's like, the way that woman, the way that she acted, I didn't like it whatsoever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know exactly what he's trying really hard to not upset either side on this. And definitely try not trying to upset the room that he's in.
Yeah.
And her direct question is, should he have immunity?
Right. And he hasn't really answered that. He's just saying, I don't like it. This is not good.
I don't really like it.
You're asking me a very difficult question to answer because I can't give you a satisfying answer because then everyone that already loves me will not like me. And
they're all I really have at the moment. That's all I really got.
I'm hurting.
Immunity question. Who would make those
well, right now, for the most part, people are protected by their unions, by their police unions, or by their police departments. But I'm saying if I felt or if a group of people would feel that somebody was being unfairly prosecuted because the person did a good job maybe with crime or made a mistake, an innocent mistake. There's a big difference between being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But if somebody made an innocent mistake, I would want to help that person.
What would those exceptions be? What would determine an innocent mistake? You go after
somebody and it's a very close call and it's very dangerous. And, you know, they have... the policeman's life and woman is a very difficult thing because sometimes you have less than a second to make a life and death decision, and sometimes very bad decisions are made. They're not made from an evil standpoint, but they're made from the standpoint of they made a mistake.
So I want to follow up really quickly. I find it interesting because you do talk about reining in prosecutors, especially when it comes to prosecutors that are prosecuting you. Why doesn't that skepticism apply to law enforcement?
Well, I've been prosecuted because I'm a political opponent of two people that have weaponized our justice system. I've been prosecuted. I just won the big case in Florida. Everyone said that was the biggest case. That was the most difficult
Woman in
case.
blue is very
and
annoyed.
I just won it. Now, Biden has a similar case, except much worse. I was protected under the Presidential Records Act. Biden wasn't, because he wasn't president at the time. And he had 50 years worth of documents, and they ruled that he was incompetent, and therefore he shouldn't stand trial. And I said, isn't that something? He's incompetent and he can't stand trial, and yet he can be president. Isn't that nice?
Mr. President,
but they released him on the basis that he was incompetent. They said he had no memory, and he was a nice old guy, but he had no memory, and therefore we're not going to prosecute him. I won the case, and it got very little publicity. I didn't notice ABC doing any publicity on it, George.
We covered you extensively, sir. I'd love to move over onto different topics.
I didn't notice you do any publicity on it at all. I won the case, the biggest case. This is an attack on a political opponent. I have another one where I have a hostile judge.
We have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different topics.
Excuse you. You're the one that held me up for 35 minutes, just so you understand.
Why, dude? What do you think you gain from that? Like, the people who don't like her already love you, and everyone who hates you fucking already hates you. Like, what do you gain from that other than just like
35 minutes?
35 minutes. 35 minutes of my life.
Minute 18.
We're halfway through. We got two more. We got another one of these. What you just experienced, we get one more. Yeah, this interview was fucking wild.
It is.
We are just bathing. We are bathing in it right now. I am just completely drenched in this interview.
Dude, I can't blame you. How could you not rewatch this multiple times? This is just like...
Sam, this is literally black vote suicide. what we're watching right now. Sam said guaranteed he's going to get less of the black quote unquote vote after this. It's like, yeah, this is black vote suicide. This is not good.
State of the race, sir. I want to get back to the campaign. Senator J.D. Vance is your running mate. He's had a lot of controversy lately, and I want to read you a few things that he has said in the past. He said the Democrats running the country are a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. He's not talking here about how great it is to be a parent. He's attacking what he says are the choices people are making to not have children. Did you know that he had these views about people who do not have children before you picked him to be your running mate? And do you agree with him?
No, I know this. He is very family-oriented. No. And he thinks family is a great thing. That doesn't mean he thinks that if you don't have a family, it's not. I know people with families. I know people.
He's got a backpedal for his own fucking VP pick.
Yeah. He's so mad at this.
You gotta love it.
And his base hates Vance's family.
What?
His base hates Vance's family because she's Indian American.
Yeah. I mean, like, well, he can't go full Indian because how's he going to explain that to Vance? You know what I mean?
And Modi.
And Modi. I feel like even Modi would be like, yeah, no, all right, valid.
Modi would stomach whatever.
I understand what you're doing here.
Literally fucking take it right on the chin and be like, whatever, dude. Like, we love you.
Hi, Mars?
With very troubled family.
Hi, Mars.
As long as you like us more than the Muslims, then I'm say whatever you want.
Hey, look,
yeah, true.
As long as you love us more than Pakistan.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, bro. You're good.
Families, and I also know people with no families. They didn't meet the right person. Things happen. You go through life, you don't meet the right person.
But he's not just talking about families here.
And
he also says that people that don't have children should get less votes than those that do.
I'm just speaking for myself.
Is that your
and I think
position?
I'm speaking for him too. He strongly believes in family, but I know people with great families. I know people with not great families that don't have a family, and the people without the family are far better. They're superior in many cases.
Like my own terrible family.
They're not. What he's saying is that he thinks the family experience is a very important thing. It's a very good thing. But that doesn't mean that if you grow up and you grow older and you don't meet somebody that would be wonderful to meet and would have been good, that that's a bad thing. He's not saying that. My interpretation, you'll have to ask him, actually, but my interpretation is he strongly...
You have to ask him for his coached answer after...
family-oriented, but that doesn't mean if you don't have a family, there's something wrong with it.
Just one last point, and then we'll move on. Just one of the bedrock principles of American life is one person, one vote. Senator J.D. Vance has suggested that someone who has children should have more votes than a person who does not have children. I just want to be clear here. Is that the position of your campaign?
Well, no, but it's not something I have ever heard before. I can tell you this. Right now you have illegal aliens coming into our country, many from prisons and many from mental institutions, and they want to give them votes. I don't think they should have votes. They came into our country illegally, and they're taking the vote away from all of the people in this room that have been here a long time, that have worked hard.
You are doing that, motherfucker, dude. Who's the people doing that shit? The fucking Republican Party, motherfucker. That's who's taking away the vote from black people. You fucking moron, dude. Talk about black voter suicide, man. What the fuck, dude?
That's crazy.
This is probably one of the greatest things that I think that like this election cycle could have ever given us.
And let the record reflect, some of us didn't want to watch this video today. Some of us didn't want to watch it.
Yeah, I almost thought that, like, you know what, maybe we should just watch, like, you know, the best highlights. All right.
Yeah. We don't have 4 hours of time to kill. You know, we should really wrap that up so we can get into the more the more pressing matters.
I could not have been more wrong.
You'll see this happening. If I'm not elected, you're going to see it happening. If I am, you're not going to have any problem. But you're going to see it happening a long time. You're going to see the people in this room and people outside of this room are going to be losing their jobs. Real quick. People that have come into this country illegally.
Can you pause it real quick?
What?
Alcoholic horn. It's the people who are already going to vote for Trump are still going to do it. The whole name of the game is mobilizing your people that lean towards your party, and this is not how you get those people who already aren't on the fence but would vote for you to like do that.
Yeah.
Like it's just hostile to those people and their potential interests, and they would already be voting for Trump. And like, you know, if they're already voting for Trump because they're a black Republican, then like they're just like no different than any other Republican, you know, like Republican voter. Like they care about like the abortion issue, the cultural issues. You know, they're just like a conservative in America. You know.
I think more than anything, he just made like so much work for like a lot of like the what would you call it? Like the kind of like black Republican like YouTuber, like, you know, TikTok fucking like, you know, accounts that are probably getting paid to do it. But, you know, somebody like Candace Owens, right, is going to have like a fucking field day basically trying to figure out like, all right, how do I defend this?
Make this look good?
How do I make this look good?
Yeah,
how do I make it look not weird?
That's it's a tall order. That's a tall order.
It's just kind of the state of the race right now, because I felt like that vice president question, candidate question was right in there with that. Yeah. So let's talk about J.D. Vance for a little bit. He's had some stumbles out of the gate. I don't know if you're hearing what we hear is...
What's that?
She wants to talk about J.D. Vance. Wow.
Yeah.
He's also upset about J.D. Vance.
Nobody's happy with J.D.
I think he's like the most unpopular
about J.D. Vance.
I think he's like the most unpopular vice president in history. I heard that in terms of like polling, like what we have recording polling data for in terms of vice presidents. He's the worst so far.
Yes.
Yeah. No. Yeah. He is literally like universally hated, even by Trump at this point.
He was only picked because he could bring in Silicon Valley money, and then they kind of, like Elon Musk has kind of bailed on that situation already. So
has Peter Thiel even answered any of his phone calls yet?
I mean, I don't know, but I know Peter Thiel is also kind of being put in the spotlight for some of this stuff, and he's not able to really handle it well. So
no, Peter Thiel's kind of like a weird vampire that doesn't like anybody, talking about him. He prefers it if you're just aware that he exists, but you don't ever actually interact with him as like an entity. Peter Thiel is trying to find a place he can't get droned if Trump does win.
Orders, but it's been a tough couple of weeks for him. Why did you choose J.D. Vance?
Why
did you choose him? And I'm having a hard time hearing too. Everybody out there can, but it's hard.
I'll tell you why. I chose him because he's a very strong believer in work and the working man and woman, and especially the working man and woman who have been treated very unfairly because you know them.
What?
I said, and are black.
Then even the black ones.
The ones with black jobs.
But you have
what?
The ones with black jobs.
Right. Which is any job, that a person.
Let's be clear. It's any job. It could even be vice president. Why not? It could be president. It could be any job.
Any job, and it doesn't have to be a DEI hire.
Many of those people, they were treated very unfairly. They worked very hard, and they were treated unfairly. He wrote the book that became a bestseller. The movie became a smash hit. He's a very smart guy without the benefit of having a family that has contacts, like a father that was well-connected. He got into Yale Law School. He graduated in 2 years from Ohio State, summa cum laude. I mean, you take a look at...
Sigma cum laude?
Yes.
Is that even like a good grades thing? So, which is ironic because he's like, oh, he's a man of the working people, but he's Ivy League educated. Dude.
Right.
His career has been an amazing career. He started off at a level with a difficult family situation, very difficult with the mother and the father and everything else. He ends up going to Yale Law School and was one of the top students, became the head of the Law Journal. I mean, that's an amazing thing. He's a 4-year, he was in the military with great distinction for 4 years, got out, went into business, became successful in business, very successful in business, actually. Did public offerings and other things. And I have to believe in that. I mean, he's somebody that was born in a rough situation. Most of the people know that situation because it was very well documented in his book. And I have a lot of respect for somebody that can get into Yale and become one of the best students in Yale, that meets a young woman at Yale who was also outstanding, and they get married, they have a beautiful family.
Can't say her name. Can't remind people what her name is,
But he had he's made himself an amazing life. He then goes to Ohio, lives in Ohio, and he had my endorsement. That helped. But he wins the Senate. He becomes a United States Senator. So he's a United States Senator.
He didn't talk about the military service.
Like I respect you for your success, I respect people for their success.
The reason I asked the question is because the last time you and I sat and talked was the day that you were shot. We'd been together for much of that day. You left to go to Butler, Pennsylvania, and we didn't know what was next.
Yeah.
And
it was the glass, folks.
I cannot understand.
There was no bullet.
I know, it is really hard.
The shooter was that terrible.
I can understand you perfectly.
Because she's closer.
I can understand you.
I'm happy to hear that, sir.
But I can't
really
understand, Harris.
I have a few more questions.
Because of the distance and the mics.
It's a rigged panel.
I cannot understand.
Why? Why does he think like I'll just keep mentioning how shitty the mics are?
Yeah, like that's his out.
He's trying to pretend like it's rigged against him, like everything is.
It's rigged. I did everything right.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
There it is.
There it is.
So,
are you asking a question?
What you're saying.
So what I wanted to say was the last time we spoke, you said some words
Took her
that
water.
were prophetic. Because I asked you who you wanted to choose for vice president.
Yep.
And you said normally it really wouldn't matter what they would bring. You know, you choose somebody that you think has a future, that sort of thing. But you said these words 3.5 hours before an attempted assassination on your life. You told me that bad things happen, Harris, and that's why this decision is important this time. Bad things happen. You said it twice. When you look at J.D. Vance, is he ready on day one?
He was preparing.
Ready
It
on
was
day one,
staged.
if he has to be.
I've always had great respect for him, and for the other candidates too. But I will say this, and I think this is well documented. Historically, the vice president, in terms of the election, does not have any impact. I mean, virtually no impact. You have 2 or 3 days where there's a lot of commotion.
I mean, basically, it's like he's not even there, really. You know, like
Everyone can just pretend he's not there. Doesn't matter. Who cares? He's historically unpopular and made my popularity go down because of
that was like a very because we were / are looking at like an extremely tight race here for the presidency right now. Like vice president choice is a huge variable in such a close race, and Trump seems like they kind of blew it. They like really blew it.
Well, on both sides, it's a huge variable.
Yeah, I know.
It's like an indication on the left of like policy projection, policy trends into the future, whereas like, it means different things to the Republicans, but it is an important thing.
Absolutely. But I mean, they really need good.
Especially when they're saying things like, I think that, families without kids, deserve to be taxed more.
And deserve less votes.
Yes.
Are we giving votes to people with kids?
No, I'm sorry. What were you going to say, Pat?
Nothing really.
As to who, like you're having it on the Democrat side, who it's going to be. And then that dies down, and it's all about the presidential pick. Virtually never has it mattered. Maybe Lyndon Johnson mattered for different reasons of what we're talking about, not for vote reasons, but for political reasons. But
the Voting Rights Act, dude.
The choice of the vice president makes no difference. You're voting for the president, and you can have a vice president who's outstanding in
it's
every
a whole
way.
vote.
And I think
Graham, is he fucking like giving himself like an out on the JD Vance thing? He's like, look, it doesn't really matter anyway, even if they're fucking, terrible. It's like, we shouldn't be thinking about the vice presidents here, people. You know what I mean? Like, he's like kind of giving like a little bit of like a sidestep on that. Like, guys, you shouldn't even think about when you're voting, don't even think about vice presidents. Honestly, like, let's just not
that important.
Yeah, it shouldn't even be in the discussion.
It kind of sounds like that. And here's the thing, everybody. If I'm not mistaken, the whole reason why we have Kamala instead of waiting for after the whatever the hell it is, the DNC, right?
Yeah.
Is because, if I'm not mistaken, they would basically have to give up or give back all of the money that they currently have, right? And then have all of that money go back into like the coffer. Apparently because like she is still the vice president, right? She doesn't have to do that, right? So they would have like no budget right now, right? I mean, like they would have like a budget, I guess, but it makes things a lot easier, right? If I'm not mistaken, and am open to being corrected. Whereas Trump right now, if he was to give up JD Vance, even after the DNC, they would then have to refund all of the people that have donated to the campaign since picking Vance.
Right.
Am I making sense yet?
Yeah.
Like, they are not going to be able to do that. And if they do, his campaign is literally going to be fucking, like, bankrupted at that point.
Yeah.
Well, he was, like I said earlier, he's relying on the VC money to funnel through all the super PACs and whatever to like be the funding mechanism. But because those people are also stupid. I don't know. Like they agreed to it and then also are realizing how bad of an investment that would be. And so now they're, like I said, mentioned Elon Musk going back on his promise to give like 140 something million dollars a month to the campaign. And I think like the reason why they're so desperate for money is because like Donald Trump has turned the entire Republican fundraising apparatus into his political future, and like nobody wants to give to that anymore. Like
ideas, I think that all of them would have been, but you're not voting that way. You're voting for the president. You're voting for me. If you like me, I'm going to win. If you don't like me, I'm not going to win.
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in.
J.D. Vance?
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in. To your point and to Rachel's point, he, has a lot of opinions about childless women like myself or divorced people like yourself. Do you think, I mean, my point
at
is
least
here.
It was said in a friend.
Oh.
At least
it was said in a friendly way.
Friendly manner.
My point is, do you think the Republican Party is getting a little bit too judgy about people's lives when you think about abortion or when you think about what J.D. Vance is saying?
I don't think, I think that the Democrat Party is really the one that has the problem. I think they're radical on abortion because they're allowing abortion in the 9th month. They're allowing the death of a baby after the baby is born based on the governor of Virginia. Based on the governor of Virginia, they're allowing the death of the baby after it's born. They're allowing abortions in the 8th and 9th month.
After they're born.
I think they're right. And I think the Republican Party is actually much less. I think I've made them much less radical, perhaps, but the Republican...
Dude, come on. Come on, dude. Come on.
I love it.
You've made the Republican Party far less radical? Come on, man.
I mean, he has been saying to everyone, trying to hide the fact that they want to do a national ban. He has been trying to do that. The whole distancing themselves from the Project 2025, which is not working, but that's all a part of that. Like, it's all about trying to look normal to normal people who aren't extreme religious fundamentalists or like white supremacists. Like, that's all they have left now. And like the entire Republican Party, as like where the energy is, that's all they have left. It's like really like interesting how much of a flailing moment that they are in right now.
I had to just
it's historic.
2 hours ago, The Guardian put out an article that said black journalists respond to disastrous Trump panel at annual convention. I just wanted to see if there was like headlines about this yet, and CBS has talked about it. Chicago Sun-Times, Washington Post. It's all New York Times. They haven't been. That was the only one that really has the word disaster in the headline. But I was just seeing like how many. I was just seeing if weird like on the front of like something that's probably going to be talked about quite a bit over the next few days. I feel like it has to be. I'm going to pee real quick, by the way.
Has to be. Do you want me to leave it paused for now?
No, you can go. I'm only going to be a couple seconds.
Republican Party, what we're doing is bringing it back to the states where everybody wanted it. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservative, everybody wanted abortion brought back. They didn't want Roe v. Wade in the federal government. They wanted it. Everybody wanted it back.
But the majority of Americans oppose Roe v. Wade being overturned.
They don't know about this. Right now, they're voting. It brought it back to the states. Now, I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Ronald Reagan believed with rape, incest,
the 3 exceptions.
Life of the mother. I do. I think most people do. I think most Republicans do also. But if you take a look, right now they're doing, it's an amazing thing. Out of the federal government, it's in states, and people are voting. And I will say, Ohio is, let's call it a more liberal version, has been approved. Kansas, the same thing, a little bit surprising to a lot of people. But the people are now voting, and it's taking this issue that's been going on for 52 years and has torn our country country apart, and it's giving it to the people to vote on, and they're voting. And many states have already voted. Others are in the process of voting, and it's bringing it back to the people and a vote of the people. And it's not at all radical. And again, you have to follow your heart.
I agree, Ree.
I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Most people believe in the 3 exceptions. Most Republicans believe in the exceptions. But they don't want to see an abortion in the 9th month or the 8th month. Almost everybody agrees to that. And they certainly don't want to see, in the case of the governor of Virginia, the former governor, I might add, who said, we set the baby aside and then we decide what to do, meaning what do? We execute the baby. That's a radical, horrible position. And some people want that. I don't want it. Most people don't.
Thank you. Can I just pivot really quickly to another question about, you brought up health, Harris. You're an active man. We see you golfing all the time. But if
What was that?
Dakadoon, thank you so much for resubbing 20 months with us. Wow. Thank you so much.
Months. Oh my God. We got to start thinking about daycare. Shit.
Appreciate you, man.
If you win, you'll still be president at 82. Which is older than Biden is right now.
But not mentally.
Listen, here's the question.
Not mentally. Mentally, I'm a spry 20-year-old.
I'm a young
Don
man.
Old.
Don Old.
He's shot. But most people.
Would you consider?
Most people. I know many people in their 80s and their 90s that are in great shape. Some of our greatest leaders. You look at throughout the world history, the greatest leaders. Some of the greatest leaders in the world were in their 80s.
But here's the question: would you consider
Queen Victoria
stepping?
Hang on a second. Leaders.
Yeah, exactly, Ree. Exactly, Ree. But Biden is too old. There's some great old people, but Biden, he's not one of them.
This is only from 2022.
Which is true.
Let's see. What other leaders are in their 80s? Pope Francis. You know.
See,
and political leader Pope Francis. Yes.
The Emir of Kuwait. All right. Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmad Al Jabir Al Sabah is 85. All right.
Nice.
Even if his health is rumored to be in severe decline. The King of Norway, Harald V, right? He's 85 years old. The King of Saudi Arabia, that no one has seen in like a long time.
Yeah, but I think a job of a king and a job of a president of the United States are very different things.
Well, let me hit you.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why
the president of Lebanon. All right. Lebanon's a famously functioning, well-functioning, normal country that doesn't have issues.
Right.
What
were you gonna say, Phil?
I mean, there's a reason why Prince bin Salman is the figurehead, the go-to that it's always showing up in the news because the other guy is 86 years old.
Yeah.
That's right. There's the president of Cameroon, right? He's been their president for 40 years.
He's doing great.
Famously elected
survived a coup attempt
40 years. Then there's Queen Elizabeth, So look, this is like a murderer's row of octogenarians, you know, that are doing just fine.
So much of the world's history they witnessed personally.
So many leaders.
And they sucked during it.
Dianne Feinstein, right? Fucking who else?
Mitch McConnell. Oh, they talk about him right there. Chuck Schumer too, yeah, right there.
That's right. This Chuck Grassley, right? Where is Senator Dianne Feinstein these days?
Bert, how long was she
Donald
queen for? Like 60 years. Yes, actually, and they celebrated her 60 years with a diamond jubilee in India while people were starving. If you want to learn more about that, we actually just did a fucking podcast about it. That one hasn't been released yet, right?
But it will be.
Yeah.
But it will be. If you want to know exactly about the celebration that went on for the 60 years of being a monarch, where they had celebrated a diamond jubilee amongst a horrific famine that killed what was this one, 19 million or something like that. 19 million people were starving in India.
And to give it a little teaser for it, but about a detail that you'll have to catch it when you watch it, but when it comes out in the future, is why did they separate plague deaths from famine deaths? Or like, I kind of want to see the figure that has them combined, because they were, as like a social phenomenon, very interlinked, because the rats and fleas were breeding in the grain that was being hoarded on the railroad track. So like, they're a very interlinked phenomenon. Okay, Bert's probably right.
Okay, stop ADHDing. This is a question about black jobs.
Down if you felt that your health was declining, or would you?
Oh, absolutely.
And who would?
I think I'd know.
How would you make that decision?
I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Look, if I came onto a stage like this and I got treated so rudely as this woman treated
Oh my goodness.
me, and I'm fine with it because she was very rude.
Does not sound like you're fine with it, bro.
That wasn't a question. She didn't ask me a question. She gave a statement. That wasn't a question.
You did your statement, sir, actually.
You said you would. You would.
Oh,
make that
absolutely.
decision
If I
to step
thought
down.
that I was failing in some way, I want people to be sharp. I'll go a step further. I want anybody running for president to take an aptitude test, to take a cognitive test. I think it's a great idea. And
Yes.
I took two of them, and
Kamala Harris, take an aptitude test. Fucking please, dude. Do it in camera. Be like, oh, okay, I drew a fucking clock. Now you do it, dude. Like, oh my God. It would be so easy to call these bluffs at this point.
I know.
Like, they won't because they're cowards, but...
I mean, I'm surprised they did. I mean, she did try to interrupt him while he's talking about, like, they're basically executing the babies. They're removing the babies from the mother, and they're just putting them in the electric chair, little baby electric chair where they put the little cap on and everything. They ask the baby, "Do you have any words? It'll be your last."
They line it up against the wall. They give it a little cigarette, a little tiny cigarette, and they give it one more first and last smoke. And they shoot him.
And they shoot him.
They put a little blindfold around his head. But sometimes, you know, especially with the premature ones,
Adorable little blindfold.
Well, can I just
mush banana?
But let me ask you.
Yeah.
I would like to have people running for president, and I don't mean because they're 75 or 85. I think anybody running, I'd like to do it. People say it's not constitutional. I would like to have something passed where you can do it. I think we should know. I mean, I've watched what's happened in the last couple of years under this gentleman, and our country is a mess. We have inflation.
Did he just argue for a third term?
I was thinking about that, but I think he was talking about ages or something like that. But like, you know, I've been calling that Trump is going to go for a third term, and he talked about changing the Constitution to, you know, do different things.
Yeah, it sounded a lot like that.
We'll have to see.
Are we smoking copium here?
Maybe.
What does that mean?
Only the finest.
We'll find out.
Why you got some?
Huh?
Why you got some? What's good?
Are we?
If you're selling, I'm buying.
He could argue with only 2 consecutive terms, 2020. What's the chance he says he needs a third term legalized because he actually won in 2020? It's like, I want a do-over because I won in 2020.
Yeah.
falling in. We have Afghanistan, which was the worst, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. What he has done to our country, and her too, what they've done to our country, she has been a horrible vice president. She's considered the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Don't mean to interrupt you, but would you consider taking the cognitive test?
JD Vance.
I would love to
and
do
make it public.
Well, I've already taken 2 of them, but I'll do it again.
Mr. President, how do you intend to...
I suggested, Harris, that let's
Tweet
take
Stank,
one.
do you think Donald Trump is old?
What do you say?
Sweet Stink, do you think Donald old? Is he Don old?
Is he Don old?
Trump.
How
Don
old? What is his age?
Trump.
He's 78 right now.
He's like 79.
79?
I think he's 78, but yeah.
78. Now, do I need to bring back up the list of famous octogenarian leaders of the world that are famously?
I think they're really loose with the word leaders, because like I don't really consider the Pope like a leader in like the sense that like obviously like metaphorically he like in some sense he's a leader, but like it's not like he's not a president. He's not presiding over a nation.
And, like, the Vatican is a city state, an independent city state. Okay, it's not. No, I don't know.
He was elected by a committee of his peers.
Sweet Stank, what are you talking about? The last 4 years have been people telling me the age of our president is irrelevant. They haven't been doing that. People have been. Joe Biden has been in such a decline since like March of 2021. He's been in such a decline that even like his own party is begging him to step down. Like, what are you talking about?
They literally removed him,
telling him to step down.
Donald Trump talked about how Joe Biden was old. What do you mean it's irrelevant?
A lot of people are saying.
He's
very old.
He
He's an old
doesn't
guy.
have it in him anymore. The same people who have been saying Joe Biden is old and senile and cannot do his job now say it doesn't matter if it's Trump.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
And also they're mad. They were like, oh, Joe Biden's unfit to run the country. Joe Biden's brain doesn't work. He needs to step down. And then he steps down and they're like, no, he's not allowed to do that. He's not allowed. He's not allowed. You're not allowed to replace him with a 59-year-old woman. You can't do that.
And like our money doing Joe Biden takes, all right? You can't just change it on us all of a sudden. Yeah, that's
how many commercials?
Definitely didn't use it all that money on my legal fees or anything like that. We definitely spent it all on Biden merch. I'm gonna sue the Biden campaign because I'm so butthurt about this.
Do you have any commercials? Do you have any pre-record commercials that we have about Joe Biden? Like,
yeah, they bought so much media market, dude, and oh my god, it's so funny, dude. Y'all can get fucked.
Do you know how long we took trying to workshop the new fuck Joe Biden flags that we were gonna sell? It was great.
We were gonna make millions off of you rubes, and they ruined it.
Millions.
The level of panic that took place with people trying to sue to keep Biden on the ballot, even though the convention hasn't even happened yet. And that's the other thing is that, like, technically, Kamala could still somehow fuck this up.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I'm very, like, look, there is a great sense of relief, and I understand anybody that feels that sense of relief. They're like, okay, all right, maybe he's not going to slam dunk this.
Just maybe. Well, that's really where we're at. It went from a slam dunk to like a close game. It's like a close game.
He can roll the heel at any moment. All right, and he's rolling the heel like really fucking hard here. Like,
see, Joe Biden just couldn't mask his dementia, but Trump masks his dementia just by rambling, and it comes across as incoherent rambling to anyone who's not a fucking weirdo freak who believes that Trump is like some approximation of a messiah.
Of a genius.
And look,
some kind of genius.
I understand for anybody that's just like,
he had an uncle that went to MIT.
I have also brought
Trump's a genius.
That like Kamala didn't even really technically get a single delegate during the primary when she ran. I understand that, right? I also understand that, look, that can happen to somebody in like 4 years.
Who's smoking on the copium now, dude?
I am.
Yeah, dude.
Not you. I'm talking about that dude that's like, oh, the comments are so weird. It's all bots.
Weirdo comment bots. I'm not weird. Time to take a shot.
I'm a cool guy. I drink. I'm a cool guy. I drink. I'll tell people on the internet that I'm consuming alcohol.
Right. Dude.
I'm someone who fits into society.
I'm not somebody that like looks at the just shape and size of people's hands and like
I'm gonna come into someone's chat
of women.
Tell them they're smoking copium, and then when asked if Donald Trump is old, I'm gonna say being old is irrelevant. That's what happened. So, reflect on that. Grow as a human.
Take that shot, you know what I mean? Sit back and let that thing congeal.
Well, yeah, it's gay.
What did you expect?
Like,
you want a
why is that a bad thing?
Do you want a non?
Didn't like give it away.
Do you want a non-gay stream, dude?
Like,
dude, streaming is gay as fuck.
Yeah, first of all, this is an inherently homosexual activity.
Right.
And you being in chat is also super gay.
Dude.
Yeah, you're super
dude. Being an active Twitch chatter is like
being on Twitch.
You could do.
It's mad gay, dude.
Yeah,
like I gotta tell you,
is inherently gay. Like playing video games is inherently gay. All right, looking at other people enjoying themselves,
caring about politics is like one of the gayest things that you could fucking do.
Aiden Ross, right?
Dude.
Is like it just
caring about politics is one of the most perverted things you could do.
Having sex with women is inherently gay.
Well, and also we're all kind of gay because, like, if you know anything about biology, is that we actually all are technically women to begin with, and then we actually like develop into men. And like the band Rudimentary Peni, it's called that because when he was in a biology class, they called the clitoris a rudimentary peni because that's like what you develop from. So technically, all guys are technically chicks with
technically you're a trans man. If you're a cis man, technically
you transitioned into
in the womb.
Your mom gave you gender affirming hormones in the womb.
That's right. That like that weird line down your ball bag. Technically, those were your lips or late. I don't
have been your
like a fucking AP bio. All right, like I passed that fucking class and haven't had to think about it since. All right, it's only because I got weird people in chat like fucking asking weird questions. Labia, right? Whatever.
Talk about rudimentary peni. I know this is very ADD tangent, but that's like in some like baked in misogyny right there.
Oh, right. I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like just terming it like that. Like instead of like calling it what it is, you're calling it.
This is gonna be a penis at some point in the future, and like, yeah.
Where's
Aiden Ross? Speaking of him, he thought there was only 2 holes.
Yeah,
I thought that was Haas.
Oh wait, no, that is. I think that is also a Haas thing. Yeah, that is what you're saying.
Like he didn't understand where P came from
Aiden
or something.
Ross can't
like
fucking
that.
read, dude. He's like when he wrote the word fascism in his chat,
Aiden Ross.
Like,
I wonder if that happened already.
What? The Trump interview
Donald
with Aiden
Trump
Ross?
is going on Aiden Ross.
Dude, this is going to be just like a week of pure loss for Donald Trump, and I'm here for it.
This is going to be, I agree. It's going to be awesome.
Might as well enjoy it.
Take a cognitive test. Now, I do it with her too. I would do it with her also. You know what? She failed her law exam. She didn't pass her law exam, so maybe she wouldn't pass the cognitive test.
So he is calling her DEI hire right there.
How do you intend
she didn't pass her bar exam, and she didn't think she would pass it, and she didn't think she was going to ever pass it. And I don't know what happened. Maybe she passed it.
She did pass it.
There's a man over here. I think he must.
Mr. President, I would love
saying I know what happened. She passed it somehow.
She went
higher. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, I mean, all of these like positions that she held. Am I supposed to believe that she didn't get a college education to be like all these law positions that she held? She just hasn't. She
was a diversity hire, Pat. All right, she was unqualified and got it only because she was Indian or now she's black.
And now she's black.
Now she's a black. I can't be the only one that hears it, right? Like when he says it, it sounds like he's saying a black. There's like an extra syllable there.
He just can't help himself.
Am I losing it?
Tech Janison, I looked it up actually, and Aiden Ross's audience are like young male voters. They're like voting age, 18 to 20. But they're not likely voters, obviously, because young voters just aren't really. But it's not going to help. Like that is, it's just like a tiny demographic, and not the one that helped Trump win in the 3 states that he won in the election that he did win.
I'm sorry, what were you gonna say? You're not gonna convince me that like Aiden Ross, people that watch Aiden Ross are gonna go like outside or like go somewhere else.
That's what I'm saying. They're not gonna vote. It's a waste of time.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you're gonna tell me that any of them
Aiden Ross does a destiny and is getting his chat to go canvas for Trump. That would be funny. They should live stream that.
Yeah. Oh my God. That would be one of the greatest. That would essentially ensure a win for the Democrats. Can you imagine if Aiden Ross fucking chat weirdos were knocking at your door and trying their best to explain why you should pick a political candidate?
Them and Nick Fuentes.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Hey. Hi, my name is Braden. Have you selected who you're gonna vote for the 2024 election? Get the fuck off my front porch right fucking now.
You just hear a gun cocking.
And like voters are just kind of like that anyway, because I've canvassed or whatever. So yeah, I can imagine someone walking up to that. Yeah, answering a door to someone like that would only go so well.
I hate this place. All right, we're so close to the finish line, and it's not even 10 o'clock. This is amazing. We're making great time here.
January 6th.
We did it.
You've called yourself the candidate of law and order. Yeah. When Time Magazine asked you if you would consider pardoning all the rioters, you said, yes, absolutely. You called them patriots.
I did do that.
140 police officers were assaulted that day. Their injuries included broken bones, at least one officer lost an eye, one had 2 cracked ribs, 2 smashed spinal discs, another had a stroke. Were the people who assaulted those 140 officers, including those I just mentioned, patriots who deserve pardons?
Well, let me bring it back to modern day, like about 5 days ago.
Let me dismiss everything that you just brought up and talk about something that happened this week. How about that?
Had an attack on the Capitol, a horrible attack on the Capitol. You saw the people that were protesting and spraying these incredible monuments, bells, lions, all these magnificent limestone and granite with red paint, red spray paint that will never actually come off, especially the limestone. It will never have a builder. I know
They
about
literally
this
cannot clean it.
I'm a builder. I know about this stuff.
It's literally impossible to clean.
Impossible. It's there forever.
Dude, I live in Philly. I see them clean up fucking graffiti all the fucking time.
He's talking about the anti-Netanyahu protesters.
I know exactly what he's talking about. I know what he's talking about.
Never, you'll see it in 100 years from now. They viciously attacked our government. They fought with police. They fought with them much more openly than I saw on January 6th. What's going to happen to those people? What's going to happen to the people in...
They killed a cop. A cop fucking died during...
They literally beat a cop to death with an American flag.
Yeah.
Or was it a MAGA flag? I can't remember, but either or really, like... Come on.
The question is on those.
What's going to happen to
my
the
question
people
is
that
on those rioters who assaulted officers.
You have to
would you pardon
what's
those
going to
people?
happen? Oh, absolutely, I would.
You would pardon those?
If they're innocent, I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court just
Damn, dude. One thing I swear to God, one thing I guarantee you, Donald Trump cannot fucking handle is like I think he can handle like mudslinging. I think he can handle being in the dirt with people, to be honest. But like when the entire room laughs at him and he is sitting in a corner of a bunch of people who are black and laughing at him, like he's like his like white superiority complex is just like he's spinning the drain right now.
Yeah, no, he's gonna take it out on like Junior and Eric later because he's not gonna be okay after this.
He may never be okay again.
No, he's gonna be eating a lot of cheeseburgers.
The days of Donald Trump being okay may be numbered.
Well, they were convicted by a very tough system. How come the people that tried to burn down Minneapolis, how come the people that took over a large percentage?
How about all those black people that burned down Portland?
So, like, just to focus it back on the question, because he has a wonderful talent for getting people to forget the question that was asked is, would you pardon them? It's not like, okay, basically he's saying, I'm not going to pardon these people, but he said, yes, I would pardon them. I would pardon them. Yeah. But he's like talking about all these people that are also being prosecuted, you know, very likely, like they aren't being, and it's so wild.
Yeah.
It's very normal.
Of Seattle, how come nothing happened to them? How come the people?
But sir, we're talking about people that were seen beating officers with flagpoles, dragging them down the stairs. They're on video. Have you seen that video, sir?
Oh, really? Well,
you would pardon those. You would pardon those rioters?
They shot a young lady.
Oh, he's talking about Ashley Babbitt,
who was protesting.
She got shot in the chest.
Just protesting. She wasn't breaking through a window and being demanded over and over to not come near the fucking group of what do they call it? Delegates? Who was in there? Like literally senators. Yeah, the most important fucking some of the more important politicians. A fucking crowd is like literally breaking through Resident Evil style. If you watch the video of Ashley Babbitt getting shot, they're literally breaking a window and she's like coming through it head first, like a fucking Resident Evil movie.
Yes.
And it's like, you know, and I'm not like trying to be a bootlicker or anything like that, but that guy has a gun, and if on the other side of that door is like the senators that are trying to like pass like the election, it's like it's probably your job at that point to shoot somebody. I don't know.
Okay. This is the same person who earlier in this conversation was like, I don't know, maybe that guy that executed Miss Massey.
Yeah.
If he deserved immunity, like he thinks that guy still deserves immunity. So like it's hilarious that they're like, oh, they murdered this protester when like he doesn't give a fuck about that. He was very explicit about not giving a fuck about like police immunity or police violence or anything like that. Like, yes, he is talking. Yes, he is talking about the BLM riots to an audience of black journalists.
Yeah, that's true.
This is quite literally the scene. This is what, like, you know, they were looking
right
at.
Before it happened. Yeah.
Right. This is what they were looking at on the other side, like from the other side. Okay.
Honestly, I applaud their restraint of only shooting one person.
Right.
One person? Dude.
The fact that only one person
like,
got murdered there.
Yeah, it's actually pretty wild for how trigger happy the cops usually are. Like,
right.
I'm amazed.
And it's like,
I mean, if it was a Black Lives Matter protest out there, they wouldn't even have made it to the steps. There would have been AR-15 fire.
I'm just put on my conspiracy hat, dude. It's because there was a stand down order. They did not have security there. They would have had more security for any other protest that was planned. There was a stand down order, and the fact that there hasn't been deeper investigations into that means we are still in for like deep coup possibility trouble because
like dude, they were literally
look at that, the fence, dude. No way.
It literally is.
And he's trying to say that thing that, you know, friends of ours attended on the protest of Netanyahu, which the most I saw was like a little bit of pushing against bicycles and people being maced fucking immediately when they did anything. Like, to say that this what we're looking at right now in this picture was less severe in terms of fighting with police than that like thing that protest that barely even made the news. To be honest. It wasn't even that big of a deal.
I've seen people around here flying that like you see that flag in there with the tree on it?
Yeah.
It's like the Mandate of Heaven tree or whatever. I've seen people flying that around here. Recently, there was a neo-Nazi attack on the river, like literally fucking 10 minutes away from me.
They attacked the river?
And they arrested one person. We can bring up the article when we're done with this, and we can go through that if y'all want.
All right, yeah, we can do that.
Like, come on, dude. The amount of people here wearing like tactical gear and just like swarming political offices.
When they got inside, there was dudes with zip ties and shit like that.
I remember. Like, but anyways, well,
that day could go real weird. That's for sure.
The way how unhinged these people are. What if they would have broken into the quarters that had all the senators and AOC was there, right?
Yes.
Like
that's who they were trying to find. They were also trying to find Nancy Pelosi.
It was the first day of Congress, and this is their first. Well, I don't think it was the first day of Congress, but this was like one of their first official acts after everyone had like been sworn in, like just previously.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, with the amount of unhinged psychopaths that were in that crowd, like it's almost probable that someone would have been seriously hurt, if not killed, if they got to those people.
It is quite literally a miracle.
Mike Pence.
That that didn't happen.
Right. It is honestly a miracle.
Mike Pence would have been hung in the gallows. Yeah, Mike Pence would have been hung in the gallows.
Yeah, they were literally constructing a gallows. Like dude. I was reading one thing where it's just like there were people like through the perimeter walking around the White House like that had AR-15s. Like
they found a bunch of bombs.
Like stashes of weapons on boats.
They found a bunch of bombs in a van, right? There was like a van outside.
They still don't know where those bombs came from. There was like planted pipe bombs that were like stashed somewhere.
Yeah.
They still don't really have an arrest for those.
Hillary Clinton.
What about her emails? All right, back to the video.
All right.
Nobody died that day. You do know that. But people died in Seattle. Nobody died, but people died in Minneapolis. You know people died in Minneapolis. And nothing happens, and nobody ever talks, and nothing happens to those people. But you went after the J6 people with a vengeance. And I'll tell you what about the cops that were, and I'm all for the police, as you know, but what about the police that are ushering everybody into the Capitol? Go in. What about that? Look, nothing is perfect in life, but you have people from
like you literally have other people in the audience being like, shh,
no,
like,
that didn't happen.
Let him cook. Let him cook himself. All right, like, because there are people even in the crowd that are like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Minneapolis. You have people just from 5 days ago in Washington, D.C. They were having fistfights and fighting with the police. They were spraying and destroying. They were desecrating our monuments in Washington, D.C. 5 days ago, and nothing happened to them. And you can't have two systems of justice. That's why they went after me as a political opponent, because they felt they couldn't win without doing that. And we're going to win our cases, and we're going to be vindicated, but I have to spend a lot of time on that and money. That's what they want. After the election, they won't care. Although in my case, I think they probably will, because the hatred is pretty deep. But I'll tell you, they went after me as a political opponent. That's never happened in our country before, and it sets a terrible, terrible precedent.
What do you do on day one if you win? What's your first thing?
What do? I close the border. And I do two things, because I can do a lot of things simultaneously. I close the border. We don't want people coming. We want people to come in, Harris, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. They have to come in legally. I want people to come into our country, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. So when you say, what do I do? That, and I drill, baby, drill. I bring energy way down. I bring interest rates down.
I fucking called it. I knew he was going to say that shit, dude.
I
said he was going to say drill, baby, drill.
I'm pro drill. I love drill.
You specifically brought up the drilling thing, yeah.
Well, the word for word, drill baby drill. That's just how he says it.
People can buy bacon again, so people can buy a ham sandwich again, so that people can go to a restaurant and afford it. Because right now, people can't buy food. Your grocery bills are up 40, 50, 60%, right? She's agreeing to me. Oh, she's agreeing. Thank you. I like you very much.
I think we are.
But it's true. Your grocery bills are up. And then they're mandating that you buy an all-electric car. You know, Elon Musk endorsed me, and he's a friend of mine. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy. But I'm
about to talk mad shit about him.
What's that?
But I'm going to talk mad shit about him right now.
Yeah. Elon's a fucking idiot.
Electric car, okay? I'm very much against that. You have to be able to, if you want a hybrid or if you want a gasoline-propelled car. But, you know, we have more liquid gold, gasoline, oil, under our feet than any other country. More than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia, more than any other country. I want to use it. I want to use what we have. I want to bring down prices, bring down costs, and I also have to stop the invasion. And remember, they're taking your jobs. These people coming in are taking your job.
They're working for the newspapers. They don't speak very good English, but you know what? They're writing articles. They're growing their Substack.
They're using ChatGPT in order to replace you.
There by the Trump team. All right. So leave it. That is the last word. Thank you so much, Mr. Trump, for coming today and joining us.
Well, thank you very much.
They've been telling us.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, very much. Great honor.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
NABJ will email about details regarding the conversation with Vice President Kamala Harris in September. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The music literally just fucking broke, I think. Oh, no. Wait, there we go.
Maybe someone trying to get fancy on the decks. What song? This is Donald Trump vibes, totally.
Yeah, that music was so bizarre.
I thought it was pretty good, you know. But
it was bizarre for the context.
Yeah.
Should have just had like crowd noise.
There you go.
I think they would have to mute probably a lot of people trying to heckle him.
What did we just sit through? Holy fuck. This guy's trying to be president again?
Yeah, dude.
I don't know. He wants black people to vote for him? Oh, okay.
That was the most...
I don't know how his team didn't train him a little bit better on some of these things, because it's like literally all you could do was revert to like there's an invasion of migrants and that's why I need you to vote for me. Like that was like he just kept like going back to that one. That was like his only real escape of like maybe I can just pit black and brown people against one another.
That's like his MO, dude.
Maybe that'll save me here. Maybe that's what we can do.
Usually is how white supremacists operate. Yeah.
It's the most bizarre shit that I think we've watched on this channel so far. We've watched a lot of pretty funky stuff here.
Sissy hypno porn?
Sex with aliens. Aliens
I was on
virginity.
stream?
Yep.
Oh yeah, we did.
We didn't watch it, but we did watch the advertisement for it.
The trailer, yeah.
We did watch the trailer.
We learned about David D's.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We've witnessed so much on this channel that I think has to be probably one of the really big ones, because it's just like this is like a former president. This is historical.
Yeah.
This country is fucking busted.
Bust.
We recruit immigrants.
This country's busted.
So yeah, I don't even know where to go. I just
No. They're your enemies. And treat them like that and fight them. And you'll get your freedom. My repertoire is USSR. Be a low style, be a low style, got thrown out the car. Lies with subversive plots. They'll call you an extremist or subversive or red radical. Lies with subversive plots. Red radical and fight them. Capitalism and democracy. Capitalism and democracy are not synonymous. We group us up like ants in a colony. Organize the wealth into a socialist economy. A way of life based off the common needs. And all my comrades is ready, we can spread the scene. And all my comrades is ready, we can spread the scene. And all